Good to go. What's going on, guys? Tower number 9 here. This is another Star Wars Unlimited gameplay video here. And this time we have Sandy on the left playing Grand Moff Tarkin Double Green. And on the right we have, I believe it is Keeson, who is playing Boba Green. Let's see how it goes. We had kind of some rough games for Boba Green on the channel earlier in a matchup against a Green Luke. Let's see if he can do better against Tarkin this time. I think there was some bad luck in those games. There may have been some changes to the deck composition as well. Super Laser Technician hitting the board here from Sandy. A 7th Fleet Defender brought out on the other side of things. Interestingly, Sandy is using the Death Star Command Center here for the 30 HP base rather than the Energy Conversion Lab. I'm personally a big fan of the Energy Conversion Lab. I'm wondering if this is like an anti-aggro tactic that's being used here. We could see the ECL being used to ambush in a Super Laser Technician on Keeson's side this turn, which would allow Boba to deploy this turn. I think that the Super Laser Tech is likely going to swing in, but here's something spicy. If Sandy doesn't swing with that Super Laser Technician first action, Keeson can play the Cartel Spacer in hand and exhaust it. But luckily, luckily for Sandy, does go for the immediate attack, knocking off the shield from the cartel, from the crafty smuggler. The crafty smuggler swings to hit Piet for 2. Let's see what we see here. Tarkin buffs Piet to get him out of range of the crafty smuggler's retaliation, so Piet can now swing in. But I think we might still see the ECL into Super Laser Technician here from Keeson. Super Laser Technician with, yeah, using the ECL, 2 damage to Piet, but doesn't actually get the kill, thanks to that experience granted by Tarkin. Does set up a Boba deployment this turn, though. Tarkin hits the field, Boba hits the field. Surprise strike available. Surprise strike from Boba into Tarkin, defeating him immediately. Ouch. Ouch. Piet had swung into the base there for 3 damage. Resupply now from Sandy. 3 to base. 6 resources for Sandy here. Oh man, Keeson's developing a huge board though, playing out a Cartel Spacer, and we don't see any unit for Piet to ambush in. Oh, Sandy is critically 1 resource short of playing that Reinforcement Walker, which would be an awesome ambush unit, but isn't available in this scenario. The Escort Skiff could still be used to ambush here. Piet swings to the base for 2. The Smuggler trades with Piet. I think what we're going to see here is plausibly a second Admiral Piet being played by Sandy. The problem is if Boba clears that Piet, then the Escort Skiff won't have ambush. 3 to base. Tarkin's ability should be used here to buff Piet, I think. Yep, Tarkin used to buff Piet. Still has the 4 resources for the Escort Skiff. 3 to base. Escort Skiff ambushing Boba. So the Escort Skiff is a relatively newly previewed unit. 4 cost 4/4. While you control another or another command unit, this unit gains ambush. Wow, a an overwhelming barrage that defeats Piet but nothing else. Honestly, it's worth it though because Piet's ability would allow that reinforcement walker to ambush in. Boba then hits the base for 6 and then plays a crafty smuggler. I don't know. It's not looking good for Sandy here. The reinforcement walker can hit the board this turn, but I think it's arriving too late to actually save the day. Just looking at the amount of damage that it's facing, we could easily see 11 damage, which would not quite be lethal. I don't know. Maybe. Kisan has a weak hand. Reinforcement walker on the field, doesn't get to ambush, but looks at the top card, either draw or discard it and heal 3. The top card is Darth Vader. You probably want to draw that, but I think he's so low on life that he figures he has to heal. Heals 3. Heals 3. 3 to the base. Initiative taken. 2 to the base. 2 more to the base. 4 to the base from Boba, and that's it. Not a great turn for Kisan, all things considered. Did manage to do a lot of damage, but like does shoot first to deal 1 more damage to base, and then gonna use the no good to me dead to exhaust the walker for the next turn. That's pretty reasonable. That's pretty reasonable. Wow, horrible draw. 2 TIE fighters. That Vader would have been way better. Yeah, if Sandy had drawn an overwhelming barrage here, might have actually been able to stabilize. There's too many shields though. Without the healing from the reinforcement walker, I don't think it was going to get it. Okay, so Kisan's small units ended up being able to take over the board before the larger stuff from Sandy could hit the field and start causing problems. Let's see whether or not that's going to be a repeat story here. Do 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 do. Weird hand. 3 resupplies in hand for Sandy. I think you keep this hand and you resource 1 or 2 resupplies, and you keep yeah, you can do Shore Trooper resupply. You only really want 1 ramp piece with Tarkin because that's all you need to deploy him a turn early. So yeah, that's exactly what Sandy's gonna do. Resourcing 2 resupplies can do Shore Trooper resupply Tarkin out. Yeah, I mean I think that's a pretty good start, honestly. Leading off with that seasoned Shore Trooper, 2 cost 2/3, also a card with great art here. While you control 6 or more resources, this unit gets +2 attack. The Crafty Smuggler, a 2 cost 2/2 with a shield token, opposes that Shore Trooper. The Shore Trooper swings into the base for 2 damage here. Surprise strike on the base for 5 damage from that Crafty Smuggler. Interesting that it wasn't the shoot first to take out the Shore Trooper, but I guess there wasn't a great play. Initiative taken. Kisan is the aggro here, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that Sandy is going to have a better end game than Kisan. So surprise strike to the base here is not what you most want, but it's at least okay. A shoot first now being used, taking out that shore trooper. Emperor's Royal Guard hit the field. I have a feeling that a waylay is headed their way. That's exactly right. Waylaid immediately back to hand. So Tarkin is going to deploy, but he won't have an Imperial unit to buff. Return a non-leader unit to its owner's hand. Unfortunate situation for Sandy. Tarkin's main ability here is to buff other Imperial units, but he doesn't have one to buff. He ends up swinging in to deal 2 damage to the Crafty Smuggler, or rather to take 2 damage from the Crafty Smuggler, but to remove its shield. I suspect we're going to see that the Emperor's Royal Guard that we had just seen taken to hand replayed this turn. Probably research the Super Laser Technician at this point because it's a little late for that. Although I don't know, you would be able to play both that and the Emperor's Royal Guard. Sandy with the initiative, or I'm sorry, Kisan with the initiative. Bosk ambushes, dealing 6 damage to, or dealing 4 damage to Tarkin, leaving him on 6 damage taken. Now the Emperor's Royal Guard needs to come onto the board to screen Tarkin from being picked off by that crafty smuggler. Boba hits the field, but here's the thing: Tarkin can attack, give an experience to the Royal Guard, and get it out of range of Boba. 2 damage to the base, and there was an experience on there, but it was very illegible due to these counters. The experience effect is very subtle. So there is an experience there. It's now a 4/5. So Boba and the crafty smuggler could attack to clear it, but yeah, I mean, it would be a heavy toll taken by that Emperor's Royal Guard on the defense. Might be best for Keeson just to take the initiative here. He could surprise strike the Royal Guard with the crafty smuggler and then kill Tarkin at the same time using Bosk's ability. Okay, so he draws a shoot first, so now it's going to be better to shoot first with Bosk, take out the Royal Guard, 2 damage to Tarkin. So that's a great 2-for-1, and then you set up the surprise strike into the base. No, he is gonna do the surprise strike with the crafty smuggler instead of the shoot first play. Huge value from the surprise strike, but I do think the shoot first play would have been stronger there. Could be wrong. It would save the surprise strike for base. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Vader hits the field, probably going to ambush and take out Bosk. That's another reason that it would have been good to swing with Bosk. Search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of villainy units, not imperial units, villainy units with combined cost 3 or less, and play them for free. Admiral Piet. Ooh, that is a spicy card to deploy here or to play. It is threatening a big ambush from some powerful card in the future. So Kisan can get Fet's Fire Spray on the board this turn. If he attacks with Boba, readies those 2 exhausted resources, he'll be at 6 and can then play Fet's Fire Spray and do some aggression to the base. Boba defeats Piet, probably a prudent choice. And then the question is, are we going to go for the no good to me dead to exhaust Vader, or is it going to be the Fet's Fire Spray? I think you go with Fet's Fire Spray here. Yeah, Fet's Fire Spray and base for 5. Okay, so now the overwhelming barrage that we see in hand here could be used on that Darth Vader to deal 7 damage. The 7 damage from that barrage would be sufficient to not only defeat Boba, but actually have a point left over for just some damage on the Fire Spray, which would then set it up for maximum firepower next turn to remove it, even with only Vader on the field. So that is, yeah, indeed, overwhelming barrage. So he could also just defeat the Fire Spray, but I think it makes more sense to clear Boba here. On the other hand, he could do 6 to the Fire Spray, 1 to Boba. Boba's then in position. Yeah, okay, so he's going there, trying to defeat Boba with Vader, but then we see the No Good to Me Dead being used to exhaust Vader for 2 turns. And Emperor's Royal Guard hits the field, 3 cost 3/4. While you control an official unit, this unit gains Sentinel, but Vader is not an official, so this does not have Sentinel. It's just a unit being played for stats at this time. Boba can Boba can hit the base or could attack the Emperor's Royal Guard or could attack Vader. If he attacks Vader, he trades, so that's probably bad. Ends up just deciding to hit the base for 4 damage. Does not get to ready resources here because he did not defeat an enemy unit. Seventh Fleet Defender hits the field and initiative taken. Vader still exhausted, but this could be a big turn for Sandy because we could see Traitorous to steal that Seventh Fleet Defender, and we could also see maximum firepower. Um, no, he's gonna resource the maximum fire. No way you resource that. No way you resource that. Actually, I'm a little surprised Piet is the resource. I think I would have resourced the Shore Trooper. Piet's a big threat. Okay, so now we can see max firepower to clear Boba. No, it's going to be the Traitorous played first to take control of the defender. So Traitorous here, when this upgrade becomes attached to a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less, take control of that unit. When this upgrade becomes unattached from a unit, that unit's owner takes control of it. So this is being used here to gain control of the 7th Fleet Defender. Boba swings in for 4 damage to Sandy's base, and Max Firepower can now clear out Boba Fett. That's exactly what we see. Max Firepower defeating Boba. If Fett's Fire Spray is played here, the 7th Fleet Defender can actually trade with it, potentially. I mean, it won't trade in one turn, but it can attack into it here. 7th Fleet Defender attacks into Fett's Fire Spray probably for 3 damage, losing the shield. The Fett's Fire Spray can swing into the base for 5. Now, here's a situation. Sandy has to take the initiative here so that the defender can swing in and clear the Fire Spray before any other action is taken, and indeed sees that and does so. Another traitorous. And we're gonna see those reinforcement walkers. I think Sandy has stabilized this time. 7th Fleet Defender trades with Fett's Fire Spray. Traitorous getting big value there. An ATST ambush. The ATST ambushes clearing Vader and dealing 3 damage to the base. But takes 5 damage in the process, allowing that Royal Guard to clear it. Oh, it's risky to do this instead of just attacking with the Royal Guard. The Reinforcement Walker hits the board. When played or on attack, look at the top card of your deck. Either draw that card or discard it and heal 3. Discards of Vader, not what you want to see, but it's worth it to get that healing. The Reinforcement Walker is exhausted. Boba Disintegrator hits the board, and now the Emperor's Royal Guard can trade with the ATST here, which is really good. Alternatively, we could see Sandy just take the initiative and have the Reinforcement Walker kill the AT. No, that doesn't make sense. You have to just take the trade. Oh, there is a weakness though. If Keeson draws no, it's off by 1. If he draws the surprise strike, he can hit the base for 6, but that's not enough to have lethal damage. So the Reinforcement Walker will probably be able to heal him out of this. And he has so many resources that he also deploys a Seasoned Shore Trooper. Oh, an Overwhelming Barrage that could take out the Shore Trooper and damage the walker, but it's not good enough. Look at Sandy's hand. Another Reinforcement Walker and a Devastator. I think Sandy has stabilized and is going to get this win. Man, what a game. Ooh, we can see the Cartel Spacer though. The Cartel Spacer could be played to exhaust. No, it can't exhaust the Reinforcement Walker because the Walker costs too much. It exhausts a unit that costs 4 or less. It could exhaust the Shore Trooper, but not the Walker, and that Walker is the big problem. What a game this is. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen here. Kisan is in trouble here for sure. Overwhelming Barrage from Kisan. 5 damage. But more importantly, the 2 temporary HP gets him out of range of the Reinforcement Walker. Defeats that, and then 1 on the Walker. Technically legal, they're erroneous. He has 5 total damage, so he can actually deal 2 to the Walker. Technically, he can deal 4 damage to the. It is legal to deal 1 damage to the Walker. It's just kind of silly. So 2 damage to the Walker. Devastator. Devastator on the board, and that's probably the game. 10 cost 10/10. Sentinel Overwhelm, and when played, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of resources you control. Initiative taken. Reinforcement Walker hits the base. What if Kisan draws Change of Plans? If he draws a Change of Plans, he can take over his opponent's Devastator, but he doesn't see it. And that's game. He has no options, and that is game. Sandy successfully stabilized. What a game. 1-1. Let's see if they do round 3. I hope they do because I would like to see a finale to this set. Yeah, Keeson has conceded the game. So they are now 1-1 in this double green Tarkin versus Command Boba. And it looks like they're going for round three. Let's see who can win in this 2 out of 3. We are 1-1. This is an exciting match. Let's see how this goes. Okay, it looks like an Admiral Piet start here. Probably you resource one of the Admiral Piets. He's actually that was such a good hand. Sandy is mulliganing what strikes me as a really good, but you know what? It pays off. This is I think maybe an even better hand. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Pretty solid start for Kisan as well. Oh, I would totally have kept that skiff. Let's see what's going on here. Crafty Smuggler, 2 cost 2/2 with shielded. Same opening units that we saw in the previous game. A seasoned shore trooper for Sandy, matched by a Crafty Smuggler on the field for Kisan. And we are going to see, I think, both sides playing super laser technicians this turn. Let's see what happens here. We could see if the Crafty Smuggler hits the seasoned shore trooper first, Kisan could then ECL ambush the super laser tech. And oh, he's not using the ECL though. He's going to withhold it. He's not ambushing. Super laser tech into super laser tech. Base for 2. Okay. Yeah, initiative taken by Sandy instead of swinging for 2. So this creates a crazy dynamic. So if he swings with his super laser tech into the Crafty Smuggler, he goes to 5 resources. And if Kisan doesn't immediately swing with his own super laser tech, Randy can actually play Traitorous on the Super Laser Tech, gain control of it, and then if it's defeated, it becomes a resource for Sandy, not for Kisan. That could be a huge ramification if it goes off. But, if. There we go. Shield taken off the Crafty Smuggler, and that turns into a resource. Is Kisan going to attack with the Super Laser Tech, or are we going to see? Oh, he doesn't do it! He swings the Super Laser Tech. He swings the Crafty Smuggler instead. Traitorous taking control of the Super Laser Technician. Oh, what a play! That is a huge reversal for Sandy in favor of Sandy against Kisan. Traitorous takes control of the Super Laser Technician, and when the Super Laser Technician is defeated, Sandy gets it as a resource, not Kisan. But if somehow the super laser technician can survive, this change of heart actually counters it because it could gain control of the unit, and at the start of the regroup phase, its owner takes control of it, not the player who controlled it, the person who owns the card. But of course, we're not going to see that opportunity. The super laser technician swings into the crafty smuggler and clears it, and becomes a resource for Sandy. That is a giant reversal of fortune. And Sandy can use that resource. Sandy can use Tarkin's ability to buff the seasoned shore trooper, and the seasoned shore trooper is now getting the power bonus for being at 6 resources. So if we see the buff used, it will actually be able to kill Boba Disintegrator because it will go up to 5 total power. What a crazy scenario. This is a giant swing. Not attacking first with that super laser technician has been incredibly bad for Kisan this turn. Oh man, but I don't know. Sandy might not see the opportunity to get the kill on that Boba Disintegrator by using Tarkin's ability. Let's see if Sandy realizes this chance. Greedo hits the field. Sandy sees it. Tarkin's ability used, buffing the shore trooper. Tarkin deploys, so now the shore trooper should swing into Boba. No, he does it in the okay. He does it in the wrong order. Uh, but it's okay. Greedo misses. Greedo misses. Whoa! He doesn't kill Boba. He goes for the base. Okay, I definitely would have had the seasoned short trooper clear Boba Disintegrator there. I think you want to just I think you want to just gain control of the game completely at this point if you can. But oh, you know what? Maybe he realized he has that Darth Vader coming, and now he has 7 resources this turn, so he can just use the Vader to clear Boba and doesn't need to take damage on his super laser technician. Man, Keeson is very behind. He does manage to use Bosk here to defeat Bosk here defeating Bosk here defeating Tarkin. He tries to use Boba's ability, but it's not valid because defeated leaders do not leave play. They just switch to their leader side. Boba's ability can only be used when a unit leaves play and defeated leaders don't leave play. Darth Vader hits the field, ambushing and defeating Boba Disintegrator. Search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of villainy units with combined cost 3 or less and play each of them for free. Sandy uh, sends in another seasoned shore trooper here. Very efficient card. So Seasoned Shore Trooper is a 2 cost 2/3 by default, but when you control 6 or more resources, it gets +2 power. Very strong in these later game scenarios because a 2 cost 4/3 is a lot of value. Sandy now taking the other cards that were found by that search and or that were looked through for that search and sending them to the bottom of the deck, shuffling them first. Something odd happened there. Yeah, it's not really what you're supposed to do, but it doesn't really matter. It was random anyway. Um, yeah, I think the main deck ended up getting shuffled as well as the others. Only the cards sent to the bottom should be shuffled here. Showdown in the ground arena. Not a single spaceship in sight on either for either player's forces. Yeah, so they messed up that shuffle a bit, but I don't think it matters. I don't think there were any other search effects used, so it kind of messed it up. But Sandy continuing to try to push damage to the base to close the game. The buffed Shore Trooper swings again. Another 6 damage to base, and Kisan only has 13 HP remaining on that base now. Boba Fett collecting the bounty can defeat Vader here. That's probably what you have to do. Yeah, Boba defeats Vader. Ready can ready 2 resources, but it doesn't matter. Like there's nothing to spend those resources on. Initiative taken. It is a bad time to be Boba Fett here. Oh, I would not have resourced that cartel spacer. That is such a good card right now for exhausting those shore troopers. Um, but maybe the plan is going to be to use Change of Heart on one of those shore troopers this turn anyway. A mighty 8 resources on Sandy's side of the board. Probably the best move is to just swing immediately, and that's exactly what happens. 6 to the base. So, okay, so Kisan can play Change of Heart, take control of the other Shore Trooper, then use Bosk's ability to deal 2 damage to the buffed Shore Trooper, and then can swing with the stolen Shore Trooper to eliminate both Shore Troopers and thus clear the arena. But I think we're going to see a mighty reinforcement walker hitting the board from Sandy, which is going to cause some problems for Kisan in future turns. Ooh, strike true. A friendly unit deals damage equal to its power to an enemy unit. The seasoned shore trooper uses that to pick off Boba. I think I might have used it on my own shore trooper there. I don't know, actually. It's complicated. Maybe used it on Bosk. I don't think Boba's as valuable as Bosk at this point, but I could be wrong. Bosk now left in command of the arena is the only unit left. Admiral Piet deploys. If I'm Kisan, I am happy to see this, and I just take out Piet with Bosk immediately. You have to do it immediately, or else he gets buffed by Tarkin and goes out of range. It's just not worth it to have Piet alive and threatening the ambush. I think you got to take that kill, which is unfortunate because Keeson is probably the worst late game, the worst of the two decks in the late game, but yeah. Mulling over whether to swing into Piet or to go for the base and just hope that the opponent doesn't have it. Yeah, I mean sometimes that's what you got to do. In point of fact, Sandy does have it. So uh for Kisan to not attack Piet here, yeah, okay. So Kisan says that he thinks he needs to just get lucky here and just go for base and hope that Sandy does not draw a large unit to ambush in with Piet. Sometimes you get, yeah, this is a strategy in card games called play to your outs. And the way it works is you're just like, if my opponent has X, I've lost the game. So I'm just gonna play assuming they don't have it and structuring my whole turn as if they don't have it and just playing to that as the only outcome where I win. And it can be a good tactic in some situations, but unfortunately for Kisan, Sandy does have it. So we now see a reinforcement walker hitting the board. Am it ambushes in, looks at the top card, and can choose to either draw it or discard it and heal. Chooses to draw instead. It's another reinforcement walker. Oh no. That is. Oh, and it actually gets to do this twice because it has one when played and one on attack from the ambush. Wow, drawing another reinforcement walker and a Vader. That is probably game over. I don't think Kisan has a way back from this. If it had been just like Colonel Yularians and Emperor's Royal Guards and other small units in hand, maybe Kisan could have done the play to your outs tactic and got the win, but that's not what we saw, and I think this is gonna be a short game here, with what's remaining. Darth Vader ambushes in, does get to kill the reinforcement walker while remaining alive, so that's something. And let's see what unit is being found here. I think it's going to be a Seventh Fleet Defender, which is why he's placed it in space. Good call there. Vader clears out the reinforcement walker, taking 6 damage, but Piet trades with Vader. Okay, I probably would have just taken the initiative and ambushed something else, ambushed in the second reinforcement walker for Vader, but technically, Kisan is the only player with units on board right now. Technically, Kisan has a stronger board state. The problem is Sandy has more resources, way more life, and some strong cards in hand. And how many resources are left? I think I I think Yularian on the field. So Yularian healing one. Still 8 resources remaining, so we could see another walker. ATST ambushes and defeats Yularian. So probably I think if you're Sandy here, I think you use Vader to clear the ATST and bring in some other unit, and then you have a resource left over to use Tarkin's ability. I think that's what you do. Kisan's at least kind of making it a game. But we need to remember that Sandy has 30 HP on that base, rather than 25. So even though the damage is kind of close, Sandy actually has 17 HP remaining, whereas Kisan only has 7. Darth Vader ambushes the ATST. Darth Vader commanding the First Legion here. Very strong card. 7 cost 5/7 ambush. When played, search the top 10 cards of your deck for any number of Imperial units with combined cost 3 or less and play each of them for free. Finding looks like the third seasoned shore trooper. Let's just admire that art there on the seasoned shore trooper card. 2 cost 2/3. While you control 6 or more resources, this unit gets +2 power. So a 4/3 in this scenario. And now the ground arena has slipped away from Kisan, but we could see that overwhelming barrage on the defender, removing both Vader and the shore trooper, even with this buff from Tarkin and another barrage. What a hand. Okay, so this turn we could see Keeson play the Overwhelming Barrage, clear Vader and the Shore Trooper. Then we could see Boba Disintegrator hit the field. Yeah, here comes the Barrage. Overwhelming Barrage. +2/+2 for the phase. Then it deals damage equal to its power, divided as you choose among any number of other units. So that 7th Fleet Defender goes up to 5 power, which is enough to clear both those units. Kisan forgets to use Boba's ability, but it probably doesn't matter. One resource doesn't actually allow him to make any plays that he would otherwise be unable to make. Admiral Piet on the board. Base for 5. We could see the Emperor's Royal Guard here. And then we could potentially see it buffed by the we could potentially see it buffed by that tie advanced as well. I would say this game was looking kind of close if Sandy were on a 25 HP base. On a 25 HP base, this could plausibly be it could plausibly be lethal in one turn from like, overwhelming barrage and then you surprise strike, so that would be 8 total damage, which would be lethal on 25 HP, or just 7th Fleet Defender plus Fett's Fire Spray, that would be 8 damage, also lethal. Boba Disintegrator taking the field. Emperor's Royal Guard used Tarkin's ability used to buff the Emperor's Royal Guard, and then for enough resources remaining to also play that tie advanced here and do another buff. Tie advanced, 2 more on the Emperor's Royal Guard. Man, what a game this is. If Kisan can actually pull, oh, those are not the draws that Kisan wants. You really want like the Fett's Fire Spray, the Surprise Strike, the cards that are going to let you somehow try and sneak through to get this win. Okay, so let's see what Kisan can do. So we could see, so an Overwhelming Barrage. Uh, the problem is the Emperor's Royal Guard is a 6/7 Sentinel, which is a gigantic problem. So we could see like Overwhelming Barrage on Boba and kill Piet, but he doesn't have enough. Yeah, okay, so Overwhelming Barrage on Boba, kill Piet. Then the Emperor's Royal Guard loses Sentinel, and it can no longer kill Boba in one hit either. No, it's a no good to me dead. I think so I think you need to do Overwhelming Barrage on Boba Fett, defeat Piet, uh, and then the Emperor's Royal Guard loses Sentinel, and Boba's temporary HP means he isn't defeated in one hit by it. Um, but that's not what we saw. Let's see what's happening here. He could still only do 8 damage, though. It wouldn't be lethal. 8 damage to base, but if he did 8 damage to base, then all he needs is a shoot first or a surprise strike to close the game with the defender. The problem though is that we're going to see the reinforcement walker showing up here. Barrage on the defender for 5. Yeah, so he can kill Piet. He probably should have done this on Boba instead because it would have made Boba out of range to be defeated by Vader. So doing the barrage on the defender here, I think is erroneous. I guess you just do 1 on the Royal Guard. He puts 1 on the tie advanced. I guess if he's playing IFB agent or something, he can kill it. Okay, so now we're probably going to see Vader ambush and defeat Boba. So yeah, if Kisan had done the barrage on Boba first action, clear Piet, 1 damage on Emperor's Royal Guard, there would be no action Sandy could take that would take out Boba. But because the barrage is on the wrong unit, Vader's 5 damage is enough to take out Boba here, which is maybe going to be a crucial bit of damage that Kisan can't inflict. Although honestly, I'm not sure that it actually matters. I don't know that he would have been able to get it even if he had it. Yeah, and Kisan points out that he has to take initiative here. He has to take initiative here because Sandy is threatening lethal in one attack. And I don't think there's anything Kisan can actually find that is going to solve both the Vader and oh no, wait, the Emperor's Royal Guard is exhausted for another turn. So Kisan has to take the initiative to avoid it being checkmate. Another Emperor's Royal Guard and it's buffed, and now I think there's nothing that can be done. Yeah, Kisan doesn't have. Kisan could answer one of those two, but not both. So Sandy gets the win. What a game that was! I think that Traitorous taking over the Super Laser Technician was a gigantic reversal. Kisan actually did better than I thought after that, but it was still, I think, the game-changing play and ultimately got Sandy a solid win in this series. So 2-1 to double green Boba over or to double green Tarkin over the Command Boba. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks to y'all for watching, and we'll be back later with some more Star Wars Unlimited content. I will catch you guys later.